I guess we'll start with Kyrie Irving, mainly because I really can't make much sense of this story. The Brooklyn Nets got fined $50,000 the other day.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Right? Because Kyrie went into the locker room. He was in the building to watch the game, had talked to all the players. You saw him and Durant on the down on the floor. And then he goes back in the locker room, but because he went into the locker room. Oh, I wrote down the NBA's policy. What is it? It's you can go to the arena to watch games, but you can't compete. You can't be around a workplace environment, which is what considers the locker room because he's unvaccinated.
So
they got fined. He can go to the game. He's fine. The minute he steps foot in the locker room, $50,000. What? Makes no damn sense.
This whole COVID thing now is, look, I'm all for people still taking their precautions. I'm even for people still wearing a mask because I take one with me, everywhere I go just in case. Mm-hmm. But I'm about tired of the NBA now and their policy.
Oh my
because
God.
It's getting to the point now where it's like you can't. After the CDC has moonwalked and backtracked so often, and they're supposed to be the voice that people listen to and figure out how they're supposed to navigate this thing, they've backtracked on so many different things from COVID itself to the vaccine. So my thing is, does COVID stop working because he's sitting courtside with no mask? And does it activate when he steps on the floor or goes into the locker room? How does this work now? Is there a remote control or on and off switch that somebody's controlling that says cut COVID off or cut COVID back on? Yeah. I just need to know.
Yeah.
For me, I'm fine with the fine because it was set. You got to know the rules, and the NBA has a lot of rules.
Okay.
So it was set before all these rules have changed. And the NBA is not like this. Oh, we're just in midseason. Oh, the COVID rules have changed, so we're going to change our rules. And I think for the Nets, they should, as soon as he walked in the locker room, they should be like, hey, you can't be in here. But of course, it's Kyrie, and they let him do what he need to do, hang out with the fellas. But I think this is where you have to have someone say, oh, man, this is a fine. You got to get out of here. And they didn't. And think about it. That's upper management, and nobody on the coaching staff probably even knew about this rule. They just going about their business. So I'm fine with the fine. It's only $50,000. That's why even I gave him a it's weird, but I'm fine with it because it's just it's the rules, and we have to follow the rules, man.
Why do we even have rules? Here's how completely ass backwards this situation has made me. I agree with Ted Cruz. Okay, here's Ted Cruz.
Oh, shit.
I know. This is where we are. This is the insanity, people. Listen, here's Ted Cruz the other day.
By the way, if Brooklyn won't let Kyrie play, I'm going to make a pitch to you directly. Kyrie, come to Houston, play for the Rockets. We'll let you play. The hell of a player. Uncle Drew's being benched. It's not health related. It's not science related. It's not medicine related. It is political theater, and it's time for it to end.
There should be no universe in which I'm like, right on, Ted Cruz. Good, well said. That shouldn't exist.
Hey, I've sat on a plane one time with Ted Cruz going back to Houston, and I'm just looking at him. I was like, damn, this is Ted Cruz. And then he didn't say anything the whole time until he was about to land. Hey, Rob, how you doing? The championships you won in Houston was great, man. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's like, for me, I've always been scared of talk to any type of politicians unless you're Obama or the president, because you're like, one little snap picture, you shaking someone's hand.
Oh,
look,
yeah.
He's
endorsing you.
Robert Horry goes right.
This guy.
Yeah. Like, what happened?
I'm like, hey, dude, I was just on the plane with it, man. Yeah. But it's like a lot of things guilty by association.
Yeah, of course. But like the pitch to come play for the Rockets. Now, I do know that Ted Cruz is actually a very big Rockets fan, so it doesn't surprise me that he knew who you were and was excited to see you and stuff. But there is no universe in which Kyrie Irving goes to Houston. There is no universe in which that happens.
No.
Not at this point in time.
No. Never.
I don't think ever.
Never. Now, and the thing that sucks the most about this whole thing is you saw Kyrie put on a clinic the other night. I mean, what did he put up?
60
something? 60. Yeah, 60 points. I mean, that's the upside of him. And then you get the other side of it, which is I can't play at home. I can't be in the locker room. Oh, it's just the whole thing is unsettling, and I'm ready for it to be over. I'm really ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
For that rule goes into what's going on in New York, and and that's what makes us mad as fans, because his talent level is beyond anybody's we've seen with The Rock, man. He's crazy, man. And that's what pisses off. Like, we want to see him on the court. We want to see his skill set. Think about it. This dude sits back and chills and say, you know what? I guess I go and give you 60. Really? And he hadn't been playing for a week.
Part-time. He's playing part-time. And he goes out and he runs up 41 in the first half. Yeah, I mean, geez, just one of the, I mean, that was one of those nights that everybody was on Kobe 81 point watch. Everyone's like, put up 42 in the first half. Was like, uh-oh, he might go 70, he might go 80. But
see, this is because he's a part-time player, you're now hoping, with Brooklyn that, you don't even care about home court advantage anymore because you want to see him on the floor as much as you possibly can. So having, the 4 games on the road more so than, having the 4 games at home, you want every road game you could possibly get because as long as Kyrie is on that floor, it doesn't matter where you can play on the moon. As long as he's there with you, you have a better chance of winning, and that's what they need in order to have the best chance to win the title because they're not winning the title without Kyrie.
Let me just say this: by the end of the season, the New York rule will change. Watch, they go like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Him being in the playoffs can bring some money because the Knicks ain't gonna make the playoffs. Let's let him play. They're gonna let him in unless this new variant that's looming on the outside of this country comes here. But I pray it doesn't. But I think.
Do we really have a new variant? Is there a new variant? I've tried so hard not to pay attention.
I try to.
I'm like, I make a concerted effort to be
like. I turn the TV on there and it's like, fuck. But no, it's. I think they're gonna end up letting him play, man. I guarantee they let him play because think about it. This is the only city now. This is the only city.